The national shockwaves continue over the gang rape of a second-year medical student from Odisha near her college in Durgapur, and this happened 2 days ago. The survivor is currently receiving treatment, and all 4 accused have been arrested and sent into police custody. Sources say a 5th accused has been arrested as well. And according to the police, the other 3 accused who were arrested earlier mentioned the 4th accused Nasiruddin's name during interrogation. Investigators say his motorcycle was used by the group to escape from the crime scene. The bike has also been seized by the cops as part of the investigation. Now, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has come under fire for her controversial remarks on women's safety, stating that female students should not go out at night, placing responsibility on the college authorities, who she underlined was a private college. She urged private colleges to strengthen security measures and on and around campuses. The BJP slammed Mamata Banerjee's comments, calling the Chief Minister, quote, a blot on womanhood, unquote, escalating the political backlash over the entire incident. Mamata Banerjee now claims her words have been twisted.
Investigation is on. I'm shocked to see the incident, but private medical colleges also is to take care for their students, and especially the girl child at night time. They should not be allowed to come out in the outside. They have to protect themselves also.
দ্বন্দ্বের মেয়াদ থেকে আমি কিছু বলেছি, আমার কথা ডিস্টর্ব করা হয়েছে। প্লিজ আপনাদের একটা রিকোয়েস্ট করব, আমাকে আপনারা কোশ্চেন করবেন আর তারপরে ডিস্টর্ব করবেন। আমি ভাত খাই সেটা না বলে আমি ভাত বলে দিচ্ছেন। এইসব রাজনীতি আমার সাথে করার চেষ্টা করবেন না, কারণ আমি আপনাদের সাথে মিট করি, অনেকে মিটই করেন না, কোশ্চেন তৈরি করে দিয়ে উত্তর দেয়।
Ms. Mamata Banerjee, or Didi as she is popularly addressed as, is also the Home Minister of the state of Bengal, along with being the Chief Minister. So, crimes against women have once again hit the image of the state of West Bengal under her and the Trinamool Congress's leadership. Let us take you through the past cases. Kolkata law student rape case back in 2025, earlier this year. The crime, a 24-year-old law student gang raped in a law college, and this is in South Kolkata. What's the status? Cops file a charge sheet against 4 accused. Then a Kolkata infant rape case, again this year itself. A man raped and attempted murder of a 7-month-old infant. The swift trial concluded with a death sentence. Magura child rape case, again 2025. 8-year-old girl raped and murdered in Magura. What's the status? Trial concluded swiftly with accused receiving death penalty. Kolkata doctor rape and murder case 2024. A 31-year-old PG trainee doctor raped and murdered in the RG Kaur Medical College. Then Calcutta High Court transfers the probe to the CBI. Birbhum gang rape case 2014. 20-year-old woman gang raped in Birbhum on the orders of a kangaroo court. All 13 accused sentenced to 20 years in prison. Hanskali, again rape case 2022. 14-year-old girl raped in Hanskali, Nodia district. CBI files a charge sheet against 9 accused. Nodia nun rape case in 2015. 71-year-old nun gang raped in a convent school in Nodia district. 8 people arrested. The main accused gets life imprisonment. Now, along with all of this, shifting responsibility onto the victims is not new for the Bengal Chief Minister. In the Nodia rape case in 2022, the crime was that there was a charred body of a minor that was found. Rape and murder was suspected. The remark that came from Mamata Banerjee was, has she been raped, or was she pregnant, or was it a love affair? In the Park Street gang rape case back in 2012, Suzette Jordan gang raped in a moving car in Kolkata. And the remark, the whole case is a fabricated story, she said. In the RG Kaur rape and murder case in 2024, the trainee doctor raped and murdered at the state-run college. And her remark was, wherever possible, night duty should be avoided for women. But such is the faith in the law and order in Bengal that the survivor's father has appealed to the Bengal government to allow him to shift his daughter to Bhubaneswar as he fears for his daughter's life. He spoke to CNN News 18, and here is what he had to say to my colleague Kamalika Sengupta.
बेटी की लाइफ खतरे में है।
वो तो और सब वो पागल हो जाएगा मैडम। वो बहुत शौक में है मैडम, बहुत शौक, पागल हो जाएगा। उसका करियर का सोच नहीं, करियर तो कभी बन सकते। वो हम
लाइफ क्यों थ्रेटनिंग लग रहा है आपको? पुलिस नहीं प्रोटेक्शन दे रहा है?
हाँ, वो बहुत रो रहा है, वो बहुत रो रहा है, बहुत रो रहा है। सब किसी के साथ बात करते नहीं, वो शायद पागल भी हो जाएगा शायद।
आप क्या लेके जाना चाहते हो उड़ीसा वापस?
आप लड़की का दर्द समझ सकते हैं मैडम।
हाँ, मैं समझ सकती हूँ।
हाँ,
क्या आप उड़ीसा लेके वापस जाना चाहते हैं?
100% ले जाएंगे, यहाँ से रखेंगे नहीं। खतरा है, खतरा का मतलब नहीं, कभी भी सुसाइड कर देगा उधर होगा भी तो।
अच्छा, मतलब
ले तो जाएंगे जरूर। सुनिए, उसका लाइफ मेरे को चाहिए, वो उसका करियर मेरे को नहीं चाहिए, उसका लाइफ चाहिए मेरे को।
बिल्कुल, मैं लड़की हूँ, मैं समझ सकती हूँ कि क्या
वही बात है, मेरे को उसका करियर नहीं चाहिए। आई वांट हर लाइफ। हमें पिताजी है, आप समझ सकते हैं, आपका भी बच्चा हो।
नहीं, हाँ बिल्कुल, मैं भी
हाँ, रहते मैडम, बहुत परेशानी। हम जल्दी से जल्दी यहाँ से इन्वेस्टिगेशन खत्म हो जाएगा, हम बच्चा को लेके चला जाएंगे।
Joining us now is Basuri Swarajji. She addressed a very strong press conference on behalf of the BJP law and order in Bengal around the entire Durgapur case. Basuri ji, namaste. What are the main allegations that the BJP is trying to make?
I think the first thing that I want to say is that in Ma Durga's Bengal, the very fact that women are unsafe, that itself is extremely unfortunate. But the kind of insensitivity that the Honorable Chief Minister of Bengal, Sushri Mamata Banerjee, has shown is appalling. But I'll tell you, there seems to be a very systematic and an insidious pattern of insensitivity and I would say regressive thinking of the TMC and especially the Chief Minister herself. If you see the pattern right from 2012 when the Park Street brutal rape happened, Mamata Banerjee said that it was a staged incident. She called it a Sajno Ghatna, which means it's a staged incident. She tried to actually deny it. Similarly, the Kamudani rape incident that happened in 2013, it's one of the most heinous crimes that happened in India. It shook the entire country where unfortunately the rape victim her body was torn apart from legs right up till the navel. And Mamata Banerjee, once again, she denied it and tried to justify the rape by saying that it was nothing but a staged incident by CPIM supporters. I just want to say that why this kind, I mean, she is a female chief minister. She should be appalled. Not only that, if you see what happened in Haskhali, a 14-year-old minor girl was raped in 2022 and she called it a love affair gone wrong. And in Sandesh Khali, where TMC netas, TMC leaders raped women, brutalized them in TMC office, she turned around and gave a flat out denial saying, Kichu hui nahi, nothing happened. Similarly, in RG which happened in 2024, when the mob or the people of West Bengal asked for justice for the victim, she called them a motivated mob. And regarding the rape incident itself, she tried to justify it rather than giving the girl justice. She justified it by saying that boys and girls roam around hand in hand. And I'm going to actually read out the statement. She said, rape cases are on the rise because boys and girls interact more freely now. Earlier, if men and women held hands, they would be caught and reprimanded by parents. But now everything is so open, it's like an open market with open options. I mean, these are despicable statements. Regarding Durgapur, a Dalit girl is gang raped, and instead of doing something about it, instead of fighting for justice for her, The Honorable Chief Minister goes around and blames the victim herself. She demonizes the woman and says that the woman should not go out at night.
But is
and
that
she's not only the
is that extrapolation or exaggeration of what she actually said? What did she actually say, that the safety of women responsibility is also of private colleges? I'm asking you this because is the BJP also over amplifying because the victim or survivor here?
Responsibility for their own.
Is this also?
My apologies. I'm sorry. I think I'm speaking over you. No. Just give me a moment. I'm saying she's also, first of all, she's not just the Chief Minister of the state, she's also the Home Minister of the state.
And also the
And therefore she's responsible for the security and the law and order of the state. And her statement exactly was, she said that women are responsible for their own security. She said that the girl should not have gone out at night. This shows a kind of regressive thinking of the TMC party, where they are demonizing and holding the victim itself of rape responsible for this kind of a heinous crime.
Now allow me to ask my question. The thing is, okay, she may have said, and she said she has been misquoted. Her intent was different. What she wanted to say is that private colleges should also keep an eye on the movements of their students. That's what her intent was. She has clarified. The other thing is 5 people have been also arrested. If you were to quote some of the cases in the past, wherever there have been swift courts set up in Bengal, there has been immediate prosecution and sentencing that's happened. But matters that have gone to the CBI continue to hang in the limbo, even in the case of RG Kaur. The other thing, is the BJP over amplifying because or cases where the victim or the survivor is Hindu and the perpetrators are Muslim? And is it vice versa for the Trinamool Congress, where they tend to go lax? And is this nothing but brazen appeasement that's going on in Bengal from either sides?
Well, if you're talking about brazen appeasement, then it definitely from the TMC side, it appears to be a brazen appeasement, because the perpetrators of the gang rape belong to a particular community. The BJP has never raised this issue, but it comes across the way the Honorable CM Mamata Banerjee said that girls should actually be responsible for their own security. She said that it is the private colleges who shall be held responsible. She said that girls should not be going out at night. If there is brazen appeasement, then certainly it is from the TMC's side. But I will tell you another thing. What you're talking about, that she has been misquoted. The kind of incidents that I actually pointed out today, right from 2012 all the way to 2025, there seems to be a systemic and insidious pattern that emerges. It is the TMC that has been in power in Bengal for the last 14 years. The Honorable Chief Minister is a woman Chief Minister. There is an expectation of probably a higher threshold of sensitivity from her. She's also the Home Minister of the state, so obviously there is a higher expectation from a woman Chief Minister that she will be more sensitive and more concerned about women's safety. It is not about blowing something out of proportion.
Right.
And today, I'll be very honest, it is not about, you're talking about swift prosecution. I'm handling a lot of Bengal cases myself. After every election, whether it is Vidhan Sabha, whether it is Lok Sabha, or whether it has been even Panchayat, local body elections, there has been rampant violence against women.
Right.
Women have been paraded naked.
That is the level of political violence.
Mobs have lynched women.
I agree. I totally agree.
That is the level of political violence.
In Bengal, political violence seems to be normalized.
That should not be.
Yeah, it seems to be normalized, and it's a travesty, Bansuri, and there is no disagreement on that at all. My final question is, do you believe that the request of the father that the survivor be allowed to leave Bengal and go back to Odisha, should that be acquiesced? Because so far there's no reaction on that. The father has repeatedly, and he was actually broke down in tears while speaking with Kamalika here at News18, that please allow my daughter to leave the state and go back to Odisha. Should that at least be allowed?
Of course it should be allowed, and what a despicable state of affairs that a father has to break down and request that his daughter be allowed to return to her home state. I mean, this just shows that it's supposed to be, this is Bharat, this is a free country. But if you have created such an atmosphere of fear it almost, earlier when we were talking about post-poll violence, it seems as if violence against women has been weaponized, and there is no place for such a thing in a free and fair democracy like ours.
You make a very fair point. Bansuri ji, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Namaste.
Thank you.
Many questions are being raised. The investigation is still on. There are multiple versions also being floated. But the larger question is there a certain element of apathy towards such incidents when it comes to dealing with such cases? Or is there a slip between the cup and the lip in terms of what is intended to be said and how it is being interpreted? Shatarupa ji, spokesperson of the Bengal BJP, is with us. Tausif Khan, lawyer and political analyst, with us, and Abhijit Majumdar, author and columnist, with us. My namaste and jai hind to everybody. Thank you for your time. Let me first ask Shatarupa ji, how would you respond and how would you see or rate the BJP, the Trinamool Congress and Mamata Banerjee's response to this Durgapur case? The BJP has been quite scathing, but is it deliberate politicization? Or is there merit in the argument that the BJP is raising? Shatarupa ji.
Anand, first of all, it's a pleasure to be on your show again. And through you, I would like to thank Komalika for the extremely empathetic comments she has been, the way she handled the victim's father. The victim's father is not even in a position to talk straight, leave alone give any answers to any media. Now, in this particular situation, like in all the other situations that you have mentioned, I mean, you have very systematically tracked all the cases, most of the cases. There are very many other cases. Date-wise, you have also shown the police action, the judicial action, as well as, most importantly, the Chief Minister's reactions. So you will then notice, Anand, that there is a specific pattern. The first thing that the Chief Minister does is somehow tries and organizes a swift arrest of someone, whether they are the actual perpetrator or not, and therefore remove them in safe custody. Because she is, like you correctly pointed out, she is the Home and Hill Affairs Minister. Even police comes under her. So, to put it very simply, the Chief Minister is equal to the Police Minister, is equal to the Health Minister. Therefore, she keeps them straight away under safe custody. Then she goes on to say that women should be kept, kept away from night duty, kept at home after 8 o'clock, or kept at home in the night. They should not be allowed to come forward. Or I'm not even going to get into any kind of feminist statements, or even I'm not even going to talk about any kind of empowerment. I just want to say, I want to thank the Chief Minister of West Bengal for having effectively put an end to all debates that West Bengal is not safe for women, for men, for anybody for that matter. She has herself, through these several series of comments, made it very clear that it is impossible for her to conduct a safe law and order situation in the state of West Bengal. So therefore, it is best that half of the population be kept at home after a particular time in the night, having completely forgotten that the rape of Hashkali happened in the daytime, happened the other rape where the victim's legs were split apart, that happened in the daytime. There are very many other situations which happen in the daytime. So how much of the population are you going to keep indoors? This is the state of West Bengal, Anand, which we have been saying for the last 15 years, where there is a complete apathy, the way you put it, the complete apathy, a way to shift blame. She doesn't want to face the situation, whether it is a flood situation in West Bengal where she blames Gangaji for having dared to carry waters from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar and flow through West Bengal. So therefore, that is not her responsibility. She blames the debacle in North Bengal on the Bhutanese for having dug up some wood. Whereas if you've seen the footage of the river, I'm not digressing. I'm just saying that this is her attitude, that she keeps, shifting the blame to somebody else.
One of the other things that we've also highlighted, that the swift courts have punished swiftly in certain matters, and that has also happened.
No, that is why I brought up this thing. Anand, we don't know whether the perpetrators who she claims are the perpetrators, and swiftly, almost like shifting under the carpet, she puts them in some police custody. to give them safe custody. So we don't really know.
No, but they have
whether
not
there
been put under police custody. The courts have actually looked at the evidence that's been presented, and they have courts
some
have passed.
cases.
Courts
All
have
right, I will
in some
give it to
cases.
you.
So
Some cases.
yeah.
But
So-
most of it, including the
Okay.
South
Yeah.
Calcutta Law College, the Koshba thing, which is a stone's throw away from where I stay, but I'm speaking to you from right now. The perpetrator has been in police custody, and let me tell you, the wall writing where Monojit is lives in our heart, etc., still is there on the wall. So that is the kind of law and order situation you have in West Bengal.
Okay, let Tausif respond, and then we'll bring in Abhijit. Yes, Tausif.
You see, as the Chief Minister herself said, and in fact there's a tweet also, that her statement given in the Dum airport while she was boarding her aircraft has been twisted. What media or the BJP media cell had presented is that Mamata Banerjee is siding with the rapist and blaming the victim herself. Now that's completely false. That's a political agenda. That's a political rhetoric and political attack. Now that's the political side of it. Now please let us come to the fact. The Bengal police acted swiftly, arrested 4 persons yesterday itself. One more arrest is made today. The police is building a watertight case. Now these perpetrators will not be spared, and the victim will meet justice. Now the question is, what is justice? Now I personally do not agree with the law that Mr. Modi has brought by way of BNS. Under the BNS, gang rape of an adult is punishable only with 20 years imprisonment, and I personally believe that each and every rape, after proven, the rapist should be hanged to death in public view. That is my personal view. Though I've been propagating that kindly make a strict law, and that is the duty of the parliament. Secondly, no, a very wrong, incorrect statement was made by BJP spokesperson that in Bengal this is happening. I will give an example of my neighboring state where BJP is in power. June 17th to June 15th, within a span of 10 days, 5 rape cases were reported. Now, NCRB data says that Kolkata is the safest city for women from last consecutive 4 years. Now, all that accolades we have, Bengal police have, and Kolkata police has. In spite of that, we see that there is no stop to this horrific crime against women. Why? What is the root cause? I believe that unless we bring stringent law, unless we execute the rapist in public view, with the current law is not working as a deterrent. And therefore, even in spite of securing conviction, they get out on bail, they get out on parole, they are served a life sentence, they are served a 10 years sentence.
As a lawyer,
you will see the current law, the punishment for rape starts from 10 years. I believe that the punishment of rape should be death penalty and nothing else.
Correct.
And therefore, there is
is
something really wrong in our legal system, our
hanging
code,
people,
and it has to be checked.
Hanging people in public view doesn't happen in a democracy. And you know very well as a lawyer and as an advocate that there are also rights and liberties, and which are accorded even to the most hardened of all criminals. The other thing is that death penalty and capital punishment is awarded in the rarest of the rare cases, or as the court deems fit, even under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Yes, personal feeling, a lot of us would have different opinions of what should be done to rapists, etc. But the courts and the countries also function under a certain framework, and one can make an argument. But on a case-to-case basis, rapists can be given the severest of the punishment. But yeah, hanging in public view is not something we may want. We may want the strictest of punishment as a deterrence. But there are others who have a different point of view, and then there are also those who believe that even a criminal has a right to life. And in a democracy, are we a Talibani state, are we a Islamic state, or are we a autocratic state run by a dictatorship, or are we a democracy? There are also those arguments. Although I appreciate your sentiment. In this case, however, it's not the first time that the Honorable Chief Minister has made such utterances. And she somehow tends to echo Sheila Dikshit, another woman Chief Minister, who we know what she said after the 2012 Nirbhaya case. So it's sad that a state's home minister, come health minister, come chief minister would turn it around and say, why are colleges allowing one particular gender to step out? In that case, then she is the home minister and also the law minister and also the health minister. She should turn around and say that men should not be allowed after 8 o'clock. Why isn't she saying that? How come men folk are roaming around after 8 o'clock? That does not come from her. I'm just saying, as a point of view, if law and order, law should be equal for everybody. Abhijit Majumdar, your thoughts? Is there too much of politicization here? Because arrests have been made, action has been taken.
Anand,
and my other question is, should the parent be allowed to take his daughter, the survivor? And it's sad that those in government are still calling her victim. They are not calling her the survivor. And that lexicon itself reflects the mindset. But should the parent be allowed to take the survivor back to her home, her native place in Odisha? Yes, Abhijit Majumdar.
Yes, Anand. See, West Bengal, frankly, has become the graveyard of women's safety. Crime data can show something, but there is a pattern. There is a very clear pattern from Park Street Rape to Kamduni to Ajkali. I mean, there's so many, and RG Kaur, where when people, and this is not the BJP IT cell coming out to the streets. There have been thousands and thousands of people who were out on the streets who don't even vote for the BJP, who came out to protest this kind of. So there must have been something that has snapped in the minds. See, the problem with West Bengal, it's my home state. I think it is the politicization of it. If you are looking at crime, law and order, always from a political lens, then this happens. What happens, what that gives rise is two-tier justice. If TMC cadre, TMC workers, TMC leaders' son, or TMC's so-called loyal vote bank, whatever, I'm not, getting into the religious part of it, but that is also pretty evident. When they, when a crime is committed by them, then the response of the state is absolutely different.
You see, Anand, our focus, if we treat crime as a crime, if we treat criminal as a criminal, and if we see that police is taking custody of the criminal, police is building watertight case, police is securing conviction for the criminal, and yet we come on TV and turn this political. Just because this is Mamata Banerjee is in power, we have to attack her and we have to come up with all sorts of nonsensical arguments and speak white lie. What did Satadupadi say? What was the other gentleman who was saying? That the treatment, the response from the police is different. How is response from the police different?
Are you
all
trying to
five
say?
accused is arrested.
No.
What was he saying?
The response from the police and the chief minister, the tone that comes, is that coloured by whether or not they are supporters or cadre of Trinamool Congress, or by their religious denomination? Or
are they not arrested?
One minute. Or by their religious denomination, Tausif? That's the question that's being asked. Because
but that is lie.
1 minute.
Rahul, they are all arrested.
No, this is Anand here. 1 minute. What I'm trying to say is...
Anand, they are all arrested.
They have been arrested. But what's the tone? Do you think Mamata Banerjee would have said, why did that girl step out at 7:58 p.m. had this girl been a Muslim and not a Hindu?
I'll tell you.
Let me ask you. I'm asking you this point blank.
I'm giving you the answer.
The other thing.
As a concerned parent, I would ask the university, what are your rules? How are you allowing my children to go out of the campus?
Correct. But she did not say that. She did not say that. She said, why are these girls being allowed to leave out? And
no,
and that was the
question was asked and she was answering.
I am just asking you, had Manojit not been a Trinamool Congress person, the accused in the RG Kaur case, Lok Sabha MP gets bashed, and look the tone that had happened, because that MP was from the BJP. Had it been the other way around, what would have been the tone? Again, reflective of, has everything now is being seen from a political prism and also perhaps a vote bank and appeasement prism in Bengal? And if that's the case, then it's a sorry state of affairs and it's the wrong commentary that a state's chief minister, its home minister and its health minister would want out there. We leave it at that. Let the people and the viewers also decide and form their own opinion. Shatrupa ji, Tausif, thank you very much. On that note, we're going to slip into a very, very short break. When we come back, is it the end of the Gaza war and is it the end of conflict in this region, or has the theatre of action only shifted? We debate and discuss here on The Right Stand. Stay with us.
This is News18 Network. India's largest news network.
20 countries are set to attend the Gaza Peace Summit, and in the latest, these are visuals, viewers, that are coming in. Do remember, the summit will be co-chaired by US President Donald Trump and Egyptian President. To finalize the Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal, India will also be represented by the Minister of State for External Affairs, Kirti Vardhan Singh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi could not attend it due to short notice, but other leaders expected are UK's Keir Starmer, Italy's Giorgia Meloni, UN Secretary of State as well, even Pakistan's Shahbaz Sharif. The talks follow a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, mediated by Egypt, Qatar, Turkey and the United States. Going across to Siddhant Mishra, who joins us with more details. The first phase, Siddhant, essentially includes Israeli troops withdrawals, opening of 5-8 crossings, release of hostages. Preparations on that front are underway already. Tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here in these visuals. Lots going to come in through the day from Egypt.
Well, that's right, Kritsween. In fact, it's a big day, not only for Israel and people in Gaza, but it's a big day for West Asia as well. Now we're getting to know that the transfer of hostage in Gaza has begun ahead of their handover to the Red Cross. In fact, Red Cross convoys are now positioned outside of a prison in Israel and inside central Gaza as the final phase of the hostage prison exchange kicks into gear. Now, in fact, President Trump will also be arriving in Israel today. In fact, he'll be received by Prime Minister Netanyahu and his wife Sarah Netanyahu at the airport. President Trump will also be meeting the hostages. So, as I said, that it's a big day for West Asia. And in fact, after visiting Israel, President Trump will be going to Egypt, where United States and Egypt have planned a grand Gaza Peace Summit, which will be attended by leaders from 20 different countries. And in fact, India has also sent its representation. MOS MEA Kirti Vardhan Singh will be representing India at the Gaza Peace Summit.
Israel also prepared fully to welcome the 20 Hamas hostages. All of those hostages are going to be released, and I believe on the left side of our screens, those are visuals that are coming in live, isn't it, Siddhant? So tell us a little bit about this all-important day, a key exchange under the breakthrough ceasefire after 2 years of war. The preparations that are underway in Israel, more importantly, because the US president first, like you said, is going to beat the leadership in Israel, followed by the summit in Egypt.
Well, that's right, Kritsween. This credit should definitely go to President Trump. Had it not been him and his administration putting in so much energy and resources to bring peace in West Asia, this hostage exchange, hostage release and the prisoner exchange wouldn't have been possible. So these are the visuals we are getting from the hostage square in Israel. In fact, since last late night, the people in Israel have been waiting for the hostages.
And we are receiving information, Wolf, that all of this process of releasing the hostages is indeed very much underway. Red Cross vehicles headed to the meeting point in northern Gaza, where Hamas will be releasing the first 5 of the 20 living hostages expected to be released today. We've received their names. They include Matan Angres, Gali and Ziv Berman, Alon Ohel, Eitan Mor, and Omri Miran. I'm personally familiar with the stories of several of these hostages. First of all, Omri Miran, I met his wife, Lishai. He has 2 young daughters who have been waiting for him for more than 2 years now to come home. Alon Ohel, he was kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival right up the road from where we are right now, just over 2 years ago. He was also held with the American hostage Keith Siegel for quite a long time, as well as Matan Angrest, an Israeli soldier who was captured and taken into the Gaza Strip. He was also held with Keith Siegel for quite a long time, to the point where Keith Siegel really came to recognize Matan Angrest as something of a son, almost. They formed very, very close bonds in captivity. And then Gali and Zivi Berman, they were taken from Kibbutz Kfar Aza, where we've seen a number of hostages, particularly young people who were taken from what was known as a youth village in the Kfar Aza kibbutz along the Gaza border. Some of his neighbors included Romy Gonen, Doron Steinbrecher, and Emily Damari, who were all taken from that very same kibbutz and released during the last ceasefire. They are now expected to be released. Twins, Gali and Zivi Berman, 28-year-old twins, expected to be released, among the first 5 hostages to be released from northern Gaza. And we will be watching, Wolf, as the next releases happen, and whether they happen from other parts of the Gaza Strip, from central Gaza, from southern Gaza. We don't know at this point, but we do know that the first release is expected to take place at any moment now from the northern part of the Gaza Strip. 5 of the first hostages. Wolf.
All right, we'll stay in very close touch with you, Jeremy Diamond, at the Re'im military base in southern Israel, not far from Gaza. That's where the hostages, some of them at least, will make their first appearance inside Israel. Clarissa Ward is standing by over at Hostage Square.
Back live. Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey, security analyst with us, Ambassador Ashok Sajana, former diplomat with us, Dr. Wael Awad, senior journalist with us, and Zahak Tanveer, Middle East expert with us. My namaste. Thank you very much for your time. Let's quickly open this up and get your thoughts before we take the questions forward. Dr. Wael Awad, how would you see these developments and what's your assessment?
But I think it's a very big relief for the Palestinian people who have been on the onslaught of the Israeli bombardment for the last 2 years, and now this cessation of all hostilities opened the door for a little glimpse of hopes that the Palestinians can are able to survive and live their own life, despite the fact that the total destruction, leaving people open in the air, and now winter is approaching. They need food, they need medical care, they need makeshift hospitals, they need lots of help. But having said that, I would say that beside being a humanitarian crisis, there's a political, historical, and religious and ethnic crisis that had been smearing in that region for the last 100 years. And now it's a time where President Trump is saying that he might wanted to see a permanent ceasefire, a solution to the Palestinian-Israeli questions. If that is the case, then this is very hopeful. But I think it's too early to judge, because such kind of peace by force does not implement properly. You need a durable peace. You need to put all the UN Security Council resolution on the table, have a two-state solution, coexistence among all the parties.
Peace by force is what you said. Interesting, term, phraseology that you use. The president of Palestine is going, but Zahak Tanveer, Hamas's doctrine has not changed. Till the time Hamas has that ideological doctrine that they want to wipe out every Jew and clean up that entire region, how is there going to be peace?
Thank you, Anand, for having me on your show. Indeed, Trump has come out with this peace process, but I don't think that until this ideology is alive, the problem will persist. In 2005, Israel withdrew from Gaza. Israel was out of Gaza. And after some months and days, the Palestinians were fighting among themselves. And they started firing the missiles at Israel. And again, Israel was pulled into the war of attrition. So until this ideology of political Islam or Islamism is alive, which was fueled by Khomeini's Qutb, Banna, and Maududi, we cannot actually absolutely dismantle terrorism. Yeah, for a short time, you can push back terrorism. What Israel has done by decapitating the Hezbollah leaders and Hamas leaders, yes, for some time you can push back terrorism, but until you combat this ideology, you cannot absolutely fight terrorism.
Abrahamic accords or Abrahamic discord? Can there be an accord and can there be peace till the time there is discord, Ambassador Sajjanhar? What is Trump trying to stitch together here?
Yeah, thank you very much, Anand, for having me. Yes, you know what Mr. Trump was first, as he came to power, what he was first trying was get a resolution of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. That unfortunately has eluded him. And possibly he thought that, since Mr. Putin was not amenable to pressure from Mr. Trump, he thought that possibly Netanyahu could be more amenable to pressure. And so that's what he was trying to do, to get peace at least out of, the Israel-Hamas conflict. You would remember that just before Trump came to office on the 20th of January, even on the 19th of January, we had a peace plan. And that peace plan was also in 3 stages. There also we saw that the first stage was completed, which was exchange of a few hostages, exchange of a few Palestinian prisoners, etc. So I think here also the idea was to get this peace process moving. But as my earlier 2 panelists have said, I think the first move is a very welcome move. It needs to be welcomed. It needs to be applauded. It needs to be, all those who are involved, they need to be congratulated. The hostages will go back, 20 of them who are alive, the others, whoever the dead bodies that are available, they go back. So that will give relief and solace to the families of these hostages. That is a positive movement. Aid will start moving in. Aid has already started moving into Gaza. So I think people who were on the brink of famine, who were not, medicines were not available, food was not available. So for them also it is welcome. But beyond that, what comes? I think that it continues to be a huge question mark. Let me just make 2 points here. Number one, what the Trump peace plan says is a disarmament of Hamas. Will Hamas agree to do that? Appears very unlikely. The second is on the 2-state solution. Will Israel agree to do that? It has not made any comment, made any statement, which would give us some confidence that at least Israel could be thinking in that direction. And as you have said, the local domestic politics of Israel is also very, very sharp, very, very bitter. And Israel has said that they are going to completely annihilate Hamas and rest, only after that.
Let's start by the discord part, because I don't think there's any accord in it. Both sides, Hamas, their entire top political leadership has been wiped out. And not only one layer, couple of layers have been wiped out. There is a sense of desperation there, which requires certain degree of, they just want to balance what has happened till now. Second is they have been already exposed. I think what you just very highlighted, that while a very great media campaign is there outside the world, into the world, but they've been also exposed in number of narratives which they've been selling of aid not being received and all those things. So these 2 things which are there, they have compelled them to come to some degree of discussion and come for this peace discussion. On the other side, Israel is also under immense pressure. Just look at that. The entire world has ganged up, forgetting what was done to them on 7th October. Nobody is talking about Hamas, what they have done on 7th October. The reason why it started. So this whole wokist, leftist, and all those people have gone after Israel. And there's a pushback, especially in Europe and number of other countries, to push Netanyahu for a symbolic ceasefire. And then you top it up by Trump's assertion, and exactly what respected Sazanazi has just said. There's a compulsion also for Trump, and there is no other way for him to go. Netanyahu's only out is through Trump. So this peace is a very tentative thing. This will be symbolic. Till the time the ideological differences on either side of the line are resolved. The one major ideological difference is who will lead Gaza? Will Hamas go out? Will they surrender their power? If they surrender the power, the very reason for which this entire thing has happened will go out of the window, which is not possible. right? It's not symbolic, but ideologically, they are going to get their own people killed to the last child to achieve that symbolic power which is there. So this ideology, you imagine they have killed thousands of people, thousands of Hamas. They have all re-emerged. The numbers remain same. The leadership is missing, but the numbers are not diminished, right? So that is one issue which Israel has to see and the world has to see. They want Hamas in power and control because Abbas has got no say. You know, you may be nice, you may be political, you may have political power, but when a militant organization is controlling country through blackmail, I'm sure you've seen the videos in which normal Gazans are being killed who are trying to take aid by Hamas people. So when there's a ruthless control on people who can't even voice, there is just no way that Abbas is going to come and have some degree of control. So who's going to take control there? Right? And within Israel, this is a challenge. The moment peace starts, where will Netanyahu go? What will happen to his political stake?
Well, I think let me put my perspective in a very simple language, where we believe if you know that there is an occupation, there is people living under occupation, they have the right of existence, they have the right of resistance. That's what the UN Charter says. That's what the UN law says. That's what the human rights condition, international law, everybody talks about. We talk of a Palestinian problem which has been lasting for the last 100 years after the Balfour Declaration and continue with the mandate of the British, where they have denied the Palestinian of existence. 1948, Israel came to existence on the condition that there will be a Palestinian state. Which leader of the Israelis who wanted peace or wanted Palestinian state? Ishaq Rabin, he went for Oslo Agreement, signed with Yasser Arafat. Netanyahu himself tore the agreement, threw it in the dustbin. He said there is no Palestinian state. His activist killed Ishaq Rabin, the former prime minister of Israel. Now, when we talk only of a Palestinian problem, it is Hamas. There will be thousands of Hamas. It's a resistance against occupation. You end occupation, you end your settlement, illegal settlement in the territories, let the Palestinians exist. You cannot push them out of the country. Which human being can accept that to be pushed out of his country? Look at the joys of the Israelis getting their prisoners, and look at the joy of the Palestinians taking their prisoners out. You have 11,100 Palestinians still lavishing inside Israeli jails. Fair enough. I'm not talking about. What I'm talking here, you are also expelling Palestinian prisoners out of their home in West Bank into Gaza. 75%, by the way, of the Palestinians living in Gaza are survivors of the genocide done earlier to the Palestinians in the rest of the Palestine. So these are the people who have suffered twice in the history, that they have been suffering and survived this war. So the resilience of the people on the land is very simple. We need peace, we need to live, we need our also country, homeland to be there. So you cannot deny them. I am surprised that people will talk of 2 years of Hamas. Hamas is nothing for me. I don't care about Hamas. I care about the Palestinian who have lost his family, who have nothing to eat, who is dying of famine. Hunger is natural condition of human, not available tragedy. We created unavoidable tragedy. If we have a wall of fames, a wall of shames should be kept there, that you have the largest number of people who have been killed, the largest number of weapons and ammunition have been bombarded on Gaza, the largest number of journalists have been killed in the history of media coverage, the largest number of missing families. Never happened in the First World War or in the Second World War, in a small territories, 365 square kilometers with 2.5 million people living in a concentration camp. I think this is a time where the world address. It's not the time that for Mr. Trump to isolate or bring back the isolation of Israel out, Netanyahu out of the international isolation, or himself, because America is very much involved. Today, soaked their hands in the blood of the Palestinians and allowing this tragedy to continue. This ceasefire could have happened a year ago. Why didn't it happen? Because of Hamas? Hamas said, release my prisoners, take your prisoners, stop the hostilities. And even, I tell you something which is, even the Israelis papers said it themselves, that 65-70% of the Hamas weapons came from the Israeli settlers. How about that? $50 million siphoned by Netanyahu out of the $250 million came to Hamas through Qatar. So what are you talking about here? You created Hamas because you don't want the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, to recognize it as a state. You signed Oslo Agreement 5 years after the interim period. You should have given the Palestinians a state. You said there is no Palestinian wanted peace with Israel. You wanted to annihilation. You wanted to destroy Israel. No. Look what's happening next. Look at West Bank. 12,000 people are detained. 650 people have been killed. 52 children have been killed. Why? If Hamas is in Gaza Strip, why are you killing the Palestinian West Bank? Because the coalition of Mr. Netanyahu carries right-wing activists, the hardest right-wing, extremist right-wing activists who wanted to be more popular in Israeli community by annexing the part of the West Bank, partially or completely. So there is no question of a Palestinian state.
How is it that we forget what has happened to the Jews all through the World War? They were systematically annihilated. This is their only place where they can survive. Now, if it comes to my survival versus yours, and this entire threat perception remains that if I live, you will kill me, and if you live, I will die. How will this work? Yes, Zahak Tanveer.
Yeah. The first thing I would like to say that may God help Palestinians. We love Palestinians. We support Palestinians. Being Indian, we are with the Palestinians. But at the same time, we have to also understand the problem with the Palestinians is the problem with the leadership. As the Saudi prince, Bandar bin Abdulaziz, he once said in an interview with MBC or Al Arabiya, I think, he said that, the problem with the Palestinians is the infighting, the civil wars. The Palestinians were in Lebanon, so they were killing each other. The Palestinians, they went to Jordan, and they wanted to kill the king of the Jordan. And the Jordanian king, along with the Pakistani forces, they killed the Palestinians. And the Palestinians, they went to Kuwait and they betrayed Kuwait. So I'm not talking against the Palestinians. They are people, they are humans.
Who sent them out of their country?
We love them. It's not about sending them out of the country. It's about the leadership. If they believe in two-state solution, then they would have accepted two-state solution and there would be peace. But they did not accept it. And then came Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood, the Ikhwan al-Muslimin, and then came Hezbollah, and all these ideologies came, and these ideologies fueled this anti-Semitism, and because of this problem is not ending.
Anti-Semite. I'm sorry, I can't buy this.
So here's the problem, sir. America, which is trying to broker peace here, is the one that's helped Israel bomb Gaza. America, which is trying to broker peace here, is the one that's channelized billions of dollars of aid into Palestine and looked the other way when it was redirected towards the construction of Hamas. America, which is trying to broker peace here, is the one that is empowering the Pakistanis to go ahead and raid into Afghanistan. America, which is trying to broker peace here, is the one that set up and created Osama bin Laden and eventually dumped him in the sea. America, which is trying to broker peace here, is the one which looks the other way when jihadi tanzeems are using and coming and striking into Indian territory using Pakistan as the base. So the root cause of all of it is the one who's standing there and trying to say, I deserve a peace prize. Now let's accept that, and we've got to call that out. And somewhere we have to realize that nations will want other nations to be in conflict so that they remain strong. Unless the West and unless the understanding faiths and the people in this region realize that we are responsible for our own peace, because someone else under the name of accord will only want to create more discord, this is going to happen. I have to wind up on that. We'll pick up this conversation in the next 24 to 48 hours, viewers, because we don't know what's going to happen soon after everybody departs and goes back to their respective countries. For the moment, winding up this edition of The Right Stand. Thank you for watching. Namaste.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
20 countries are set to attend the Gaza Peace Summit, and in the latest, these are visuals, viewers, that are coming in. Do remember the summit will be co-chaired by US President Donald Trump and Egyptian President. To finalize the Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal, India will also be represented by the Minister of State for External Affairs, Kirti Singh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi could not attend it due to short notice, but other leaders expected are UK's Keir Starmer, Italy's Giorgia Meloni, UN Secretary of State as well, even Pakistan's Shahbaz Sharif. The talks follow a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, mediated by Egypt, Qatar, Turkey and the United States. Going across to Siddhant Mishra, who joins us with more details. The first phase, Siddhant, essentially includes Israeli troops withdrawals, opening of 5-8 crossings, release of hostages. Preparations on that front are underway already. Tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here in these visuals. Lots going to come in through the day from Egypt.
Well, that's right, Kritsween. In fact, it's a big day, not only for Israel and people in Gaza, but it's a big day for West Asia as well. Now we're getting to know that the transfer of hostage in Gaza has begun ahead of their handover to the Red Cross. In fact, Red Cross convoys are now positioned outside of a prison in Israel and inside central Gaza as the final phase of the hostage prison exchange kicks into gear. Now, in fact, President Trump will also be arriving in Israel today. In fact, he'll be received by Prime Minister Netanyahu and his wife Sarah Netanyahu at the airport. President Trump will also be meeting the hostages. So, as I said, that it's a big day for West Asia. And in fact, after visiting Israel, President Trump will be going to Egypt, where United States and Egypt have planned a grand Gaza Peace Summit, which will be attended by leaders from 20 different countries. And in fact, India has also sent its representation. MOS MEA Kirti Vardhan Singh will be representing India at the Gaza Peace Summit.
Israel also prepared fully to welcome the 20 Hamas hostages. All of those hostages are going to be released, and I believe on the left side of our screens, those are visuals that are coming in live, isn't it, Siddhant? So tell us a little bit about this all-important day, a key exchange under the breakthrough ceasefire after 2 years of war. The preparations that are underway in Israel, more importantly, because the US president first, like you said, is going to meet the leadership in Israel, followed by the summit in Egypt.
Well, that's right, Kritsween. This credit should definitely go to President Trump. Had it not been him and his administration putting in so much energy and resources to bring peace in West Asia, this hostage exchange, hostage release and the prisoner exchange wouldn't have been possible. So these are the visuals we are getting from the hostage square in Israel. In fact, since last late night, the people in Israel have been waiting for the hostages.
And we are receiving information, Wolf, that all of this process of releasing the hostages is indeed very much underway. Red Cross vehicles headed to the meeting point in northern Gaza, where Hamas will be releasing the first 5 of the 20 living hostages expected to be released today. We've received their names. They include Matan Angres, Gali and Ziv Berman, Alon Ohel, Eitan Mor, and Omri Miran. I'm personally familiar with the stories of several of these hostages. First of all, Omri Miran, I met his wife, Lishai. He has 2 young daughters who have been waiting for him for more than 2 years now to come home. Alon Ohel, he was kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival right up the road from where we are right now, just over 2 years ago. He was also held with the American hostage Keith Siegel for quite a long time, as well as Matan Angres, an Israeli soldier who was captured and taken into the Gaza Strip. He was also held with Keith Siegel for quite a long time, to the point where Keith Siegel really came to recognize Matan Angres as something of a son, almost. They formed very, very close bonds in captivity. And then Gali and Zivi Berman, they were taken from Kibbutz Kfar Aza, where we've seen a number of hostages, particularly young people who were taken from what was known as a youth village in the Kfar Aza kibbutz along the Gaza border. Some of his neighbors included Romy Gonen, Doron Steinbrecher, and Emily Damari, who were all taken from that very same kibbutz and released during the last ceasefire. They are now expected to be released. Twins, Gali and Zivi Berman, 28-year-old twins, expected to be released, among the first 5 hostages to be released from northern Gaza. And we will be watching, Wolf, as the next releases happen, and whether they happen from other parts of the Gaza Strip, from central Gaza, from southern Gaza. We don't know at this point, but we do know that the first release is expected to take place at any moment now from the northern part of the Gaza Strip. 5 of the first hostages. Wolf.
All right, we'll stay in very close touch with you, Jeremy Diamond, at the Re'im military base in southern Israel, not far from Gaza. That's where the hostages, some of them at least, will make their first appearance inside Israel. Clarissa Ward is standing by over at Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, where thousands of Israelis are gathering now to cheer on and to welcome these hostages home. Is that right, Clarissa?
That's right, Wolf. We have been here since before sunrise, and we have seen Hostages Square get more and more crowded by the moment. There is a real air of anticipation, but also, Wolf, just an extraordinary amount of emotion. You see so many people gazing at that screen behind me, waiting for that first glimpse. They are cheering the fact that these hostages will soon be home, that their nightmare is finally, hopefully, coming to an end. But there are also a lot of grief, a lot of tears, a lot of sadness, a lot of posters, Wolf, for all of the hostages who will be coming back in coffins today.
Good evening, you're watching Brass Tacks with me, Poonam Burde. The wait and the nightmare is finally over. 2 years on, all 20 living hostages held by Hamas in Gaza have now been released. They were kidnapped during the brutal October 7, 2023 attack. They've spent the last 2 years in captivity, unaware of what their future looks like, if at all they'll have a future. But today, they got that future back, at least a semblance of it. Their life